Here is the tier list of every film I've watched so far this year, okay? It does say April in the title, but most of these I watched in April. I think there's like the first 7 I watched before April. I'm on a 24-day movie streak of watching at least one film every single day. So I gotta go watch something after this. So I gotta get a move on. I'm a little bit scared to start with ranking everything everywhere all at once because I think people are gonna really hate me because I know everyone loves this film. I need to watch it again so it can like I can absorb it better because there was a lot going on. So I think it was one that I'll probably like better on a second watch. So it'll probably move. It is on my rewatch list and it'll probably move whenever I do watch it because I'm gonna keep this tier list up all year. But for now, it's going in C. I don't know. It just wasn't really my thing, I guess. So like it didn't hit me like I thought it would. I guess it's because everyone hypes it up so much that it didn't quite hit the way I thought it would. You know what I mean? But I do definitely want to watch it again because I'll probably change my mind after watching it again. And that's me for fall. The thing with these first 5 is I watched them all quite a while ago. Also, I'm probably missing some films I've watched this year, but I don't remember all of the films I watched because I only started tracking when I got to Project Hail Mary. For these first 5, I didn't take notes while I was watching them because I didn't have my movie spreadsheet back then. So I'm gonna have a lot less to say about these ones than the others. But and That's Me for Fall's another one I definitely want to rewatch because it was really interesting and like thought-provoking, and I watched it with my dad, and after we were done we were like, I'm not really sure how I felt about that film. But then we ended up having like a really long conversation about what we thought happened. After that, like I ended up really enjoying it because it was such a good conversation starter and just so good for discussion. So I think I want to pick this for a movie night in the Discord sometimes. We can all discuss at the end. It's gonna go in A for Anatomy. Good Will Hunting. My note for this is I've seen this twice and I kind of barely remember any of it still, so cool. But I gave it a B, so there you go. I mean, I watched it twice. I must have liked it the first time. There is like that part like during the film where, is it Ben Affleck character? It says like, you know, sometimes I wish that I would knock on your door in the morning and you wouldn't be there. And then at the end of the film he knocks on his door and he isn't there, and it's really sweet and I like that part. Then we have Apollo 13, which my note is space movie, love space movie, made me cry when they got home, which it did, but I was also watching it with my dad so I tried to hold it back. But I gave it a B. I would say probably below Good Will Hunting. I have like a whole list of every single film I've watched so far in order of where I want to rank it, so I know which one goes ahead and before the others, just to make it easier for myself. Okay, now Whiplash. Okay, this is like one of my favorite films ever. This was a rewatch. I had seen it before this year. I watched it last year. I think I've seen it 3 times now. It's so good. It's just so good. Like, I don't even know what to say about it. It's about a guy who's like a music student, I guess. He's like a drummer and he's in a jazz music group band thing, but he gets chosen by the most prestigious music teacher at the school to be in his like band class instead. But this teacher turns out to be quite like, well, not quite, very demanding and quite abusive, and it's so good. It's just so good. You know that it must be good when I bring up the director because I don't know many directors. But it's directed by Damien Chazelle, who also directed La La Land. And it's edited by Tom Cross, who also edited La La Land. And I love La La Land too. They are so good. The ending is amazing. I don't want to say anything about the ending because I think it's best if you just watch it. I would recommend it to everyone. It's so good. We watched it in the Discord for a movie night and everyone loved it. And we still talk about it sometimes, so it left an impression on everyone. Now, we're staying strong with Project Hail Mary, which is also going in S+, but ahead of Whiplash even. Because we've already said that I love space films, but this was like the space film. It was just so good. Like, I saw it in the cinema. I had a list of films I wanted to see in the cinema this year because I'm trying to make more of an effort to watch more films, evidently. Because this year I'm starting editing for film and TV at university, a master's course, and I don't watch enough movies for that. Well, I mean, I kind of do now, but I didn't. And you could say that Project Hail Mary is what kickstarted me watching a film every single day. And by could, I mean definitely it did do that. I saw it in IMAX and it was just unbelievable. Like, okay, this is one I don't want to spoil. I'm not going to spoil this one, but there's a part that was really intense and I cried an unbelievable amount. Like I was in the cinema with my hand covering my mouth because I was like, please don't be too loud, crying in the cinema room. I want everyone to see it. I made all of my Outer Wilds friends go and see it because I knew that they would love it, and they did. So you're welcome, guys. Yeah, I just don't even want to mention, like, I mean, there's like a huge part of the film that everyone knows about, but I didn't know about it going into it, and it made it so much better on a first time watch that I didn't know that it was a thing. So I don't want to tell you anything about it. I just want everyone to watch it, especially if you don't know anything yet. Watch it. So that was on the 28th of March. I'm getting into the part where I have dates for all of the ones I've seen, and then also March 28th is the Magic Faraway tree. which I saw right after Project Hail Mary. And you know, that may have been of a detriment to the Magic Faraway tree, I will say. Because, okay, I know it's a kid's film, so like, it was a kid's film, you know what I mean? But it was just really boring. And I didn't like the oldest child actor. She was just so... I just didn't like it. I didn't like her character either. Andrew Garfield was in this. This is the only reason why I went to see it. I only went to see it because Andrew Garfield was in it, but he wasn't in it enough to save it for me. Also, they talk about this villain for like the entire film, and then I swear to God, she has like 5 minutes of screen time. It's crazy. They just escape her immediately. It's so boring. So I give that a D. The next film I saw after the Magic Faraway tree was actually Project Hail Mary again on the 31st of March. So that was 3 days later. But obviously we're not going to rank that again. Then the next one was the 5th of April with La La Land. There's like a bunch of parallels between Whiplash and La La Land, which I really liked. Like the camera when it whips between Sebastian and Mia. That happens in the ending of Whiplash too, and it's really good. And they both have a really long drawn out ending. Both the endings are amazing. I don't think La La Land would have been as good of a film to me if it wasn't for the ending, so I'm really glad. This is gonna be spoilers now. In the film, they have like cards that tell you which season you're going into. When it shows spring, that's when their relationship starts. So that's already good because it's like blooming, right? But then all of the other cards like that have been colourful and like a shot of the city or something. The card for fall is just white text on a black background, and in that section is when the relationship breaks down. And I love that. Like the double meaning of fall. Pretty good. Yeah, I don't like romance at all, basically. But this was like the way that I like romance to be involved, because it was really important to the plot, but it wasn't the whole plot. Like, they were their own people. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were their own people, and like they could have had a story without the romance, but the romance was so... It drove the plot, but it didn't control it. I mean, spoilers, they didn't stay together. So like, I like that. I don't like it when a film or a book or anything has like a really good plot and then they abandon the plot and the characters to just focus on romance. I hate that. It's like one of my least favorite things ever. So this is going in S. I have fun facts about this. I don't know if I should say my fun facts about films that I have fun facts for. By the way, I know my tier list things are really boring, but this is just how I've ranked them in my spreadsheet already. I didn't want to do anything different because I didn't want to complicate it, so I just left it as the letters, which, you know, boring, but whatever. Next, on the 7th of April. So this is when I started watching films every single day. We have The Nice Guys, which I've seen 3 times now because I watched it again the next day because I'd rented it and I didn't realize that after you watch it, you only have 48 hours to watch it again. And I was like, oh my god, I gotta make the most of my rental, so I watched it again 2 days later. This is like a buddy comedy film, and I'm not usually really into comedy, but I do quite like this film. The music really reminded me of Lego City Undercover, which I used to play on my 3DS when I was a kid. I'm gonna put this in A. I put it above Anatomy. That might change if I rewatch Anatomy before, but we'll see. The same day, so also on the 7th of April, I watched Half Nelson. If you can't tell, I was on a bit of a Ryan Gosling kick after Project Hail Mary, but Half Nelson, I wasn't really that into. Didn't really keep my attention that well, and it had good performances, but it wasn't really for me, so I'm giving it a C. Then I watched The Nice Guys again on the 8th, and then on the 9th I saw Project Hail Mary for the 3rd time, and I also saw the drama. And like I said, romance isn't really my kind of thing, but this one was like more drama than romance. There wasn't actually like that much romance because it was kind of about a relationship breaking apart, which, you know, I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern with that. Maybe that's something I should explore. But it had like interesting characters, and like maybe some of their reactions were a bit exaggerated, but they felt real, like how real people would react to a revelation like that. It had really interesting shots and editing, and I do want to watch it again so I can kind of study that a little bit better. Like now that I've seen the plot and I know what happens, I can focus a bit more on the technical side of it. But for now, I'm giving it a B, a high B. I'm not going to talk about what the plot twist was because that's kind of the whole point of the film. So you'll have to watch it yourself if you want to know, or watch someone else talk about it, I guess. Okay, next up, on the 10th of April, I watched Tonya, but I wasn't that focused on it, so it's a bit like hard to rank it super fairly because I wasn't paying enough attention, but obviously it's well made and it has good performances and such, but I'm gonna give it a low B, but it's going above Apollo 13. Then also on the 10th, I watched The Fall Guy. I did not like The Fall Guy. I did not like it. It'll go above The Magic Faraway tree though. Okay, I wrote too romancy, kind of boring as fuck, nothing happened for like the first 30 minutes. Love the Love for Stone People, or they should get Oscars. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. It was like a lot more kind of romancy than I thought. And look, okay, don't shoot me or something. I don't know if people care about this, but I don't think Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt had any chemistry, and I think that's why I didn't like them, because it was like they were trying to be funny but they weren't funny. Maybe they weren't trying to be funny, maybe they were trying to be cute but they weren't cute either, because I just didn't like it. And then also on the 10th, yes, it's the third film I watched on the 10th, is Juno, which I had seen before, but not for ages, so I didn't really remember anything. This is the first one I wrote like a whole paragraph about. I'm gonna read it out. After always seeing J.K. Simmons in more serious or scary roles, especially with seeing Whiplash so recently, seeing him as such a kind father was really different, but he played it so well. It was kind of refreshing to see a movie like this where both parental figures are supportive. I expected Brenda to be disapproving of Bruno, but Bruno? Who the fuck's Bruno? I expected Brenda to be disapproving of Juno, but the support she showed her, especially during the ultrasound, was so nice. Also crazy that she takes the younger sister to toddler ice skating lessons when she went on to play Tonya Harding's mother 11 years later. Also crazy that I just watched I, Tonya like the day before this. Wait, was it the same day, actually? Oh my god, it was the same day. That's crazy. Fuck Mark. And I love you, Bleeker and Vanessa. I love Juno using the burger phone to call the abortion clinic because it's just an emphasis of how young she is, just exposing the situation she's in. Love that her dad and stepmom don't pressure her into doing any specific thing about the baby and go with her choice when she says she decided to carry it to term and adopt it out. I read that Diablo Cody, who wrote the film, regrets writing the film how she did because a lot of pro-life people view the movie as being pro-life when it wasn't her intention. But I didn't really see it like that because, like, Juno wasn't against abortion. She was gonna get an abortion, but she decided she didn't want one. And is that not also within her right to choose that? Like, pro-choice isn't just choosing to have an abortion, you know? That's my 2 cents anyway. But yeah, I'm giving this an A. I'm gonna put it above these. The 11th of April, we have Sound of Metal. So this is about a drummer who goes deaf. He just kind of goes deaf. There isn't like an event that makes it happen, which I thought was cool because it's quite scary, thinking like that could just happen to you. But this one had really good audio editing. I wrote, switching between the muffled sound and how things actually sound emphasizes the hearing loss so well. Having to pay $40,000 to $80,000 for implants to help is fucking ridiculous in America is insanity. Yep. I know how scary it is to have heavily impaired hearing because I get blocked ears a lot. Obviously that's not the same, but it does at least muffle or like drastically reduce my hearing when it happens. And it happens to me like every 2 months. I have to go and get them cleared out. And I cannot imagine experiencing that long term and not being able to fix it. I need my hearing to be able to edit, and Ruben needs his to drum. He moves into a home for deaf people who are recovering addicts, and it's like so cool to watch when you don't speak sign language, because he moves in there and he doesn't speak sign language because he only just turned deaf, but everyone around him is speaking sign language, so he doesn't know what anyone's saying. There's no subtitles or anything, so it's just you watching Ruben in a room surrounded by a bunch of people speaking sign language, and he doesn't know anything and you don't know anything either, and it's like you feel as lost as he does. And I think it's really cool when a film puts you in the same situation as the person that you're watching. But then as the film goes on, Ruben kind of picks up more sign language, and then you get subtitles for things that he understands, which is also really cool, because then you're still in the same boat as him because you get selective subtitles depending on things he knows. There's a Kiki's Delivery Service reference on the whiteboard. Yeah, you pick up some signs yourself, like you kind of learn the signs for like my name is, whereas he goes to a school where the kids are learning sign language, like a deaf school. So he learns sign language at the school and you kind of learn along with him. It's really cool. And he teaches all the kids to drum, which is really cute. At the end, he gets the implant and he's kicked out of the community, the deaf community, because they don't believe in deafness being something that you fix. Then the implant that he has is really distorted and loud, and at the very end of the film, he takes it out and sits in silence instead. And isn't that just sad? He sold his RV that he was living in and his drums and everything that he owned to get that implant, and it also took away this community that he found and that he really loved, and then it wasn't what he thought it was. I kind of didn't like the way that they kind of condemned people getting implants, because if someone wants to get implants, then they can get implants. Like I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of that, but maybe I just misinterpreted it, I'm not sure. But yeah, I didn't really like how it was kind of suggesting that people who get implants are like deaf ops. And like you aren't a real deaf person if you choose surgery. But I still give it an A. It was really cool. It was very different and unique, and I love the way that they use sound. And I recommend watching that if it sounds interesting, because it is really interesting. And then also on the 11th, I watched La La Land again, but we're not ranking that, of course. Then on the 12th, I watched Ford v Ferrari. So for this one, I wrote, I don't think that this film will be overly memorable to me because it didn't make me very emotional. Spoilers. Except it's based on real people, so if you know the real people, then you know anyway. The death of Ken Miles is not focused on too much in the movie, and there's no music swells or dramatics surrounding it that kind of coerce you into feeling sad, and I like that. But the film focuses a lot more on him and his achievements rather than using his death as like a crutch to make you feel emotionally connected to the film, you know what I mean? The editing was really, really good, audio and video wise. I'm not into racing or cars in any capacity, and I'm still not, even after watching this. But at first I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have because of that, but I did really enjoy it, and I like the music a lot. And that's gonna go in B, just below the drama. This is a lot of talking. I mean, obviously, but like, I feel like I didn't expect it to be this much talking. I'm only halfway through the month. Actually, I'm not even halfway through. On the 13th, I watched Project Hail Mary in the cinema for the 4th time. Because, okay, I wanted to see it in IMAX one last time because I knew that it wouldn't be the same watching it outside of the cinema. And I just had to go and see it. I just had to see it one more time. And then also on the 13th, I watched Crazy Stupid Love, which might sound like a stupid pick considering we know that I don't like romance, but look, it has Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone in it, so it was kind of like required viewing. I had to watch it. Basically, my whole takeaway from this film is I would watch it again, but I would skip every single scene that wasn't Ryan Gosling and or Emma Stone because I like them the best and it was no competition. Okay, I gave this a C, but the thing is, I almost bumped it up to a B just because I loved Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling so much in this film. Like, there is no way I could put it on the same level as these films. Like, I can't do that. So I left it there. Yeah, that's my Crazy Stupid Love take. Then the 14th, I watched Baby Driver, which is about a getaway driver who wants to leave behind the life of crime but can't escape. It's really based around music. Like, it's edited to the music, and the music is a huge choice and like device in this film. Like, there's a part he can't drive if he's not listening to music, basically. Like, there's a time when he steals a car from a woman, but he doesn't start driving until he's found a good song on the radio, that kind of thing. But I do kind of need to watch it again. It's one of those ones again where I think I need to watch it again to absorb it more. I wrote that I put it in B originally, but then ranked it down to C because I couldn't remember anything about it. So there you go. And then on the same day, I watched Drive, which ironically is also about a getaway driver. I didn't do that intentionally. It just kind of happened. And it was like, fine. I wasn't really that into it. I don't know if it just wasn't really my thing. I think a lot of people really like this film, but actually I barely remember anything about it. I think it just wasn't really for me, probably. I actually don't really have anything else to say. So I'm gonna put that, I'll put it below Everything Everywhere All at Once because I probably enjoyed that more, even though I barely remember that either. On the 15th, I watched The Favourite, which is a period film, and I don't usually go for period films, so I kind of put this one off a bit, but it has Emma Stone in it, so I was like, it's time to watch The Favourite. I wrote, this film started so quiet and weird sounding that I genuinely thought my MacBook was broken. So that's a good start. Much more engaging and entertaining than I expected. I don't usually watch or enjoy period media, but this was so strange and full of intrigue that it felt different to any other period I've seen before. Crazy how Emma Stone can do the most insane shit on screen and I still root for her character just because she's so good. This film is about Queen Anne, who has a like lady in waiting who's like her best friend, and they are also kind of lesbians, but then Emma Stone's character gets hired by the lady in waiting as a servant, but she becomes really well liked by the queen and kind of takes over the lady in waiting's job in a way, and they have like a big rivalry. Like, they like poison each other, and like Emma Stone's character sleeps with the queen to like get the old lady in waiting and stuff. It's so weird, but I really liked it. It was really entertaining. But then towards the end, the queen kind of banishes the old lady in waiting from the palace and then keeps Emma Stone's character instead. But Emma Stone's character gets married to a lord and becomes a lady, and then she and the queen were kind of on more equal footing, but she's still kind of like, she was still obviously below her, and like the queen had like a leg condition, so she would like rub her legs and stuff for her. And then at the end, the queen's in bed. Emma Stone's character, what the fuck is she called? Abigail. She's sat with the queen's rabbits at the end of the bed, and she's got a little bit too confident, so she crushes one of the rabbits under her foot, and the queen sees and she kind of freaks out, and she kind of tries to escape, but she can't walk. And then Abigail's going over to her like, hey, no, what's going on? Let's get me back to bed. And then the queen kind of gets up and she tells Abigail to rub her leg, so she does. And then Abigail's kind of on her knees, kind of bowing for her, and then that's kind of the end. But it hangs on that for a really long time before it cuts off. At first I thought it was quite a weird ending, like I didn't really get why it ended like that, and I thought it was kind of abrupt. But I think when the queen saw Abigail crushing the rabbit, she realizes that the old lady in waiting, what's she called, Sarah, had been right about her the whole time, and that Abigail did only want something from her and she wasn't her actual friend. And Anne gets her to rub her leg to kind of put her back in a place as like a servant and not an equal, and it kind of mirrors the imagery of Abigail crushing the rabbit too. So I actually really liked the ending and I think it was really good, and I gave this an A, and I'm gonna put it below Sound of Metal. And then next I watched Hacksaw Ridge on the 16th, but I only half watched it because it was the day that Tomodachi Life came out, and I'd been waiting for that game for like a decade, and I just had to play it. And I'd already seen Hacksaw Ridge a bunch of times anyway, so it was kind of just a watching it so I can say I watched a film today. But I love Hacksaw Ridge, so it's going an S. Then on the 17th, I watched Poor Things, and I hated it. It was so bizarre, but that's not why I didn't like it. It's like, it was very, I don't know, like it was really different in like the styling and the set design and stuff. I really liked the styling. I think that was cool, and the set design was cool, but it kept my attention well, and I did like kind of enjoy watching it, but like I guess it was more of not really enjoyment, it was more of like, can't look away because what the fuck am I watching? Kind of more like that. Everyone always talks about how it's a feminist film, and I guess I just don't really see the angle. Like, I don't really get it. I don't understand why. Okay, the thing that pisses me off even more though is the fact that in most of the reviews that I read of this film, people said it was hilarious. Okay, there is one time in this whole film that I laughed, and it was because it was an actual joke by someone who wasn't the child in a woman's body. Okay, what? Who the fuck is laughing? Anyway, let's move on. 18th, I watched Saving Private Ryan. I wrote, objectively great film, but since I'm ranking on personal impact, I'm putting it a little low because I don't think I'm going to think about or remember it a ton, since it didn't have a large emotional impact on me or anything. But it was good and I enjoyed watching it, but I am giving it a B, above I, Tonya. On the 19th, I watched The Matrix. This was a rewatch. It was the second time I've seen it. It's really good. I like it. It has really good like coloration on the film. It's very different, and I like the fight choreo and the camera spin shots, you know, like when like the subject stays still but the camera kind of moves around them. I think that's really cool. I felt like the talking scenes were way quieter than everything else, which is a massive pet peeve of mine because I always have to change the volume up and down. The kung fu scene is great and I really like the music. And then so there's a part in this where they're like coming off of a mission, and Trinity and Neo are like in this subway station when they're trying to escape, and the other people already escaped, and then she's like, I need to talk to you, and then they're like actively being pursued by people, and they just stand on this subway station and fucking yap. And then Trinity finally leaves, and then Neo gets fucking ambushed, because of course he does. Don't piss me off. I know this film's fucking old, okay? But if anyone ever pulls this shit in a film now, fuck off. Like, if you need a plot device that fucking stupid, I don't wanna watch your film anymore. You know? I fucking hate it. I hate the romance between Neo and Trinity because it was very unnecessary. How the fuck is she like in love with him when they've barely even spoken to each other and they only met like a few days ago? They haven't like talked to each other. They don't have conversations. And it's just like ham-fisted romance for absolutely no reason, and I hate shit like that. Like, why does the one woman in the character have to be obsessed with a man? I wrote, maybe I'm just too arrow for this shit. I don't know. So, let me know if that's true. I also don't really get why Neo is more special than the others, because if they all know that they're in the Matrix and they all know that they can do anything, why is he more special? I don't know. Maybe I missed something, but I didn't really get that. But the Matrix is going to be an A, but a pretty low A. I'll put it above Apollo 13. It's a lot more memorable than that. Actually, maybe I'll put it above I-22. You're going to get promotion, The Matrix. Okay, next up, I watched La La Land again on the 20th because we watched it for a Discord movie night. And then on the 21st, I watched Blade Runner, the original one, and I did not like it. So this is the original Harrison Ford Blade Runner from 1982, and I thought it was really fucking boring. It's like, I know that it was probably more impressive when it first came out in the 80s, because I bet there probably wasn't a lot of stuff like that. It was probably like revolutionary and stuff, but now, without like that lens, it was so fucking boring. Like, it was so boring. But it was weird because it managed to be really boring and yet also confuse me. And I don't know, that was probably a me issue. That's probably just me being an idiot, but it's quite impressive to have both. I'm sure I remember seeing an editing video about the scene where Harrison Ford's character goes into the place and first meets the woman. I don't remember what her name is. I don't remember what his name is either. But I'm sure I saw a video about that, so I was kind of watching the editing in there, but I can't remember what the video was about, and I need to find it again so I can watch it. It must have good editing if I've seen a video about it. So there you go. So I had a meeting 25 minutes before before I hit the end, and I was too tired after the meeting to finish watching it, so I was like, okay, I'll finish watching it tomorrow. I did not. I was like, I do not care enough to finish watching this film. So I actually never finished it, which I know is kind of a cop-out, but it was just so boring. And then I wrote, also the MC started questioning his hunting of replicants because he met one that was a bit too hot, but still kept killing the other ones while pressuring this one to have sex with him, so I didn't like that, believe it or not. Also, Harrison Ford's narration was terrible. So there you go. He gets a D. Next, on the 22nd, I watched Inception, which is another one that I need to watch again to absorb better. I did like it, but I feel like I don't know, maybe it wasn't the right day for me to watch it. You know what I mean? I think I need to watch it again and just get it deeper in there. It was an interesting premise and it was really well made with the effects and everything. The fight scene with Arthur when the van was like rolling and they're in the hotel and they're like fighting all over the walls and the ceiling. That was really cool. I really like that. I like that there wasn't any stupid unnecessary romance plotline outside of Cobb and Mal, but that doesn't really count because Mel is dead, so that's fine. Except that one Ariadne Arthur kiss, which I didn't like, but it was literally one thing, so whatever. So this is getting a B, and it can go right there between Good Will Hunting and Ford v Ferrari until I rewatch it, and then maybe it'll go higher, or maybe it'll go lower. Who knows? Next up, we got Gravity, which I also watched on the 22nd, and I gave this an A. Yeah, I'm gonna put it just above The Matrix. That's what I wrote. Immediately pissed off because the intro was really fucking loud, so I turned down my volume and then they proceeded to play the quietest audio of all time. I genuinely thought it was just a silent pan of earth until I put subtitles on because I couldn't hear it. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Yeah. Why would they do that? When Stone, who's the Sandra Bullock character, first starts like kind of spinning in space, it has a shot that's just a close-up on her and it has the Earth's reflection like spinning around in her helmet, and I thought that was really neat. This film looks really fucking good. I wrote, how the fuck are these astronauts on this whole mission together and the commander doesn't even know what state Stone is from? LMFAO. For real? Okay, how the hell have they gone through like all this training together and they've been in space for seemingly quite a while? And the commander of the mission doesn't know what state of America his astronaut is from. In what world would that happen? How does he not know that? Me getting frustrated with her for fucking everything up like I could do any better. And then I have in all caps, girl, get in the fucking shuttle. If you suffocate, Kowalski just died for nothing, hurry it up. OMG, she's pissing me off so bad. But yeah, I really like this film. I don't know if it sounds like I did, but I did like it a lot. So if you like space movies, I like Gravity. It's like kind of non-stop intense though, so just putting that out there. Next up, the 23rd, I watched Dunkirk and I wrote down the quote, all we did is survive, that's enough, because I thought that was really cute at the end. This one was about the evacuation of Dunkirk and it's told through multiple perspectives from the land, the sea and the sky, and it was really good. And it had Harry Styles in it and that made me nervous because I've heard bad things about his acting, but actually he was pretty good, so I'm alright with it. At least he wasn't bad enough for me to notice. And I wasn't really sure about it, but there was like a decent amount of emotional beats that put it up there for me. I think it didn't do a very good job of depicting the scale of the Dunkirk evacuation at all. Like, there should have been so many more people on that beach, but I also understand that having like 400,000 extras would be ridiculously expensive. So I get it. But they could have done a little bit better. There was like barely anyone on that beach. I really enjoyed this. I wasn't sure at first, but the scene where all the civilian ships appeared to help evacuate the soldiers was so touching. And when the soldiers on the beach cheered for both the civilian ships and Farrier's plane. I'd already been crying a little at that point, but when Peter put George's photo in the newspaper to fill the Bishop wanting to do something worthy of being in the news, I was gone. I give it an A. I'll put it above Saving Private Ryan. Wait, what am I talking about? Wait, I put it in A. Wait. Did I put Gravity in the wrong place? I'm putting everything in the wrong place. Oh my god, I'm so... The 24th, I watched The Social Network, which was a rewatch. I've seen it a bunch of times because I really like Andrew Garfield. That's also why I watched Hacksaw Ridge. Didn't finish watching it this time because it was super late, but I've already seen it about 4 times anyways and it's always good. Watched a vid on the editing of the intro scene with Erica and Mark and it's really cool to see how even simple conversational scenes can be edited in an impressive way. It is really cool kind of studying the editing of this film. Like, that opening scene is so good. Like, you watch it and you don't really think that much of it, but then it's like so much more thought went into it than you think, and it makes you think things without you even realizing it. It's really interesting, so I would recommend looking up that video if you're interested in it. Then on the 25th, I watched The Nice Guys again because we watched it in the Discord. And then also on the 25th, I watched Mad Max Fury Road. I wrote that most of this film looks amazing, but there are randomly things that look bad. There was like a couple of, I think, green screen scenes that at least it looked like green screen to me that looked really bad, but you know, generally it looks really good, so I don't really get how there was just randomly scenes that look that bad, but it's whatever. And also, they used fade to black a ridiculous amount of times when it was not necessary, and it was really distracting to me. Even though I wasn't paying that much attention to the editing, like I noticed it and it was bothering me. But generally I really liked it. I wasn't sure about it at first, like the first 20 or 30 minutes, but then after Max meets Furiosa, it picked up a lot for me. I really liked the feminism and the disability representation. It was very cool. Pretty cool. And I haven't watched the next film yet because I can't find it anywhere, so I'm gonna watch that eventually. But this one's going in A, and it's gonna go above The Nice Guy, I think. Then we have Interstellar, which is also a rewatch. I wrote that this one also had a couple weird fade to blacks. I've decided that this is something I really don't like, so now I always notice it. I wrote that a lot of the time doesn't make sense. After I finished watching this film, this is actually the only one I haven't ranked yet, because after I watched it, all I could think about was the plot holes, or at least the things that I think were plot holes. Maybe I missed some stuff, I probably did. Okay, the main one for me was, I don't understand how Coop could possibly be 35 years old when he leaves in that ship. Because his daughter's 10, right? But then he spends 25 years in space and then she's the same age as him. She says that in a video message. And I looked this up and I saw a couple of people say, oh, well, just because she said that in the message doesn't necessarily mean that she sent that message today. But in the film, after Coop watches that message, we see her stand up and go and continue the present day plotline. So it was that day, or at least like it's close to that day. If he's 35, right, and he has a 15-year-old son, that would make him 20 when he had his son. How the fuck was he an astronaut before his son was born? Like, why didn't they just make him like 45? And then it would have been fine. I don't understand. I wrote that I hate the way Amelia, the only female astronaut on the vessel, is presented as emotional and illogical. So like, they're trying to decide which planet to go to. And she wants to go to this one planet because she's in love with the astronaut that's there. Which first off is weird to have the only woman on the ship be like, I'm so in love with this guy, I want to go here even though this mission's really important. But then what's even weirder is that Coop is like kind of disgusted with her, like, how dare you just think about love, when his whole thing is wanting to get back home to be with his family. That is so hypocritical, and I hate him. I hate him so much. And then they're supposed to be having a vote about which planet to go to, and then they don't even vote. He just overrides it and says, okay, we're going to see this other guy because I don't want to go to Amelia, to the guy that Amelia wants to go to. It's so fucking weird. Yeah, so those are like the only things I can really think about with this film, so I don't know where to put it. Like, I genuinely don't know what to do with it, because like, I guess I enjoyed the film, but it's like those things just override it for me. I don't know what to do with it. But just leave it there until I decide what to do. For the next film, the 27th, I watched Lars and the Real Girl. I was not expecting to like this film as much as I did, and it's going in S+, below Whiplash. This film is about a guy who falls in love with a sex doll, and I was like, okay, that doesn't sound like something I would be interested in, but everyone said that it was like super wholesome, and the Wikipedia like basic overview said that it's a romantic but non-sexual relationship, and I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe we'll go with it. And I wrote so much about this film. Lars is a 27-year-old guy who lives somewhere. I don't know. I think it's like Sweden or Norway or something like that. It's not clear. He's quite antisocial. He's a bit of a shut-in. He lives in the garage next to his brother and sister-in-law's house. In multiple scenes, like almost every single scene, someone mentions Lars being single and being like, when are you gonna find a girlfriend? You should go give these flowers to this woman. And, you know, like fucking harassing him about shit, which is like so real. And it like really resonated with me, especially because I'm not very into that kind of thing. Like, it's just not that important for some people, and I don't get why people always think that stuff like that is their business. After he goes over to his brother and sister-in-law's house for dinner one time because his sister-in-law won't stop pestering him to go over, he orders this doll after this in the 6-week time skip, and he gets it delivered. And I kind of thought he was going to keep it secret, but he doesn't. He like immediately introduces her to his brother and sister-in-law, and they're like, what the fuck do we do with this guy's insane? So they're like, oh, we want to take Bianca, the doll, to the doctors to get a checkout. So they take him, but it's actually an appointment for Lars, but he doesn't know that. The doctor says, we want to see Bianca every single week. And she tells his brother and sister-in-law that he has a delusion, and the best thing to do is go along with it. At first, they, especially the brother, are like skeptical, and they don't really want to, but eventually they kind of warm up to it, and they start going along with it, and they have meetings with the townspeople. They're like, you know, he's sick, like, can you just go along with it and pretend it's normal? This woman says, oh, you know, what's the harm? Like, Lars is a good boy, and then like points out like, another woman's son like spent all of his money on like UFO memorabilia and stuff, and like pointing out that other people have done weird shit too. And she's like, what's the harm in just going along with it? So they all start going along with it. It's really cute. And like he takes Bianca to church, and all of the people like they give flowers to Bianca and stuff, and they're all really nice, and they have conversations with her and stuff. And then he's out with her one time, and a woman in a clothes shop gives Bianca a job as a mannequin 3 times a week. And then they're at church one day, and the woman behind Lars and Bianca says to Lars, oh, Bianca wanted to volunteer at the hospital on the weekend. So she starts volunteering at the hospital, like without Lars, and it's so cute. And she takes her like to parties and stuff, and like he starts coming out of his shell and like going out more, and it's really cute. So when they give the flowers to Bianca at the church, they're fake flowers, and Lars says they're not real, so they last forever. Isn't that neat? And I thought that was so cute with like the context of Bianca. He has a friend called Margot who was romantically interested in Lars, but you know, kind of he's the sexual and is like, oh, okay. The guy that Lars shares a cubicle with, he kind of has a rivalry with the girl, and he strangles her teddy bear with like a cable, and she gets really upset about it. So Lars unties it for her, and he gives the teddy bear CPR, and it's so cute. Okay, we're gonna get into big spoilers now. So towards the end, after Lars has kind of opened up more, because he's been driving the delusion this whole time, and like he drives Bianca's life, one day he finds her unconscious, and they take her to the hospital, and you know, the hospital still sees her and stuff, even though she's a fucking doll. It's so cute. Like, she's dying. They take her back to the house for her last few days, and he's in bed with her in the morning, and he wakes up to the doorbell, and he goes and opens the door, and he walks out onto the porch, and there's no one there. But when he turns back around, there's lots of flowers next to the house, and it made me cry so much. There's a scene earlier where Lars is like mad at his sister-in-law, like, why is Bianca, like, why are you guys taking out Bianca to parties and stuff without me, and like, why do I have to check a schedule to interact with my own girlfriend? And he says like, oh, no one cares about me and Bianca. His sister-in-law gets like really angry, like, what do you mean we don't care? We do all of this for you. We love Bianca because we love you. And the flowers are just like, they all love him so much, and it's so sweet, and I love them. His sister-in-law's pregnant, and Lars is really scared about it because his mother died in childbirth while she was birthing him, and he feels kind of some level of guilt about it. Gus, his brother, believes that Lars's mental issues are his fault because he left Lars alone with their dad, who was like really mentally ill after their mum died, and he apologizes to him in the laundry room, and it's really cute, and it's just really nice. I could relate to Lars a lot, not with like the delusions and everything, but he really doesn't like people touching him. Like he really hates it, and I'm like that too. And he's shy, and he's awkward, and he has no need for sex, and doesn't value touch much, even with Bianca. We only see him kiss her once in the whole film, and it's when she's dying. So he's just so mean. I love this film so much. It's like one of my top films of all time. Big recommend, and we're watching it in the Discord tomorrow. Next up, on the 28th, I watched Boy A, which is a rewatch, but I hadn't seen it for a really long time, so I didn't remember anything. It's an Andrew Garfield film, and the first thing I wrote is, it's kind of weird as fuck seeing Andrew Garfield in a film depicting lower class Britain. I'm so used to him playing Americans, or at the most playing posher British people. He was really good in it, even though, because he was like super young, he was like 22 or 23. It's about a guy who, he's just been released from prison after serving, I think, 14 years for the murder of a girl, like a girl classmate, and he's kind of coming back out with an alias and like, you know, protection and stuff, and he saves a little girl's life, and he's regarded as a hero until people find out who he actually is, and then things just kind of go to shit, you know? And it's like really complex because it makes you think a lot about like, if you do something really horrific as a child, do you deserve to carry that your whole life? If you have paid for it, like if you've already served time in prison, do you still deserve to carry that, what you did, if you've genuinely changed? I mean, obviously you can never know if someone's genuinely changed, but it's an aspect, right? Can you earn forgiveness for something like that? How much responsibility is on a child who commits a crime if they've been severely abused or neglected? On a lighter note, there is a scene in this film where the younger version of Andrew Garfield's character plays Spider-Man. Like they swish with the webs across a bridge, and I thought that was really neat. But I give this an A. Second last, we have Argo, and I gave this a C, and the only thing I wrote is just not my thing. That's it. And it just wasn't my thing. So last one I watched, I actually started this last night but finished it today because I got super tired last night, so kind of cheating, but I'm still counting it as an April film. Didn't even say what it's called. I watched Memento. So I started watching it last night, and I was watching it on Tubi, which is like a free movie service. And then I got up today and I went to go and put it on, and it wasn't on Tubi anymore, and I had to go get a free trial for something else to finish watching it, which is crazy. But the first thing I wrote is, there's two people from The Matrix in this, and I'm finding it weirdly distracting. It had Trinity Faraway and Cypher. I really like this. It was very different. So this is about a man who had an accident and has a condition now where he can't make new memories, but he's trying to find a man who killed his wife. It's told in reverse in like few minute long sections because his memory kind of resets every few minutes. Things kind of just fade and he doesn't remember anything. It's told in like the last few minutes of the story. And then there's like kind of a black and white segment, and then it shows the next 3 minutes before that one. It's very interesting. It's a really cool way of telling the story, and it's kind of like Sound of Metal, like I said, where it puts you in the same boat as the character. My question is, how does he remember he can't remember anything if that happened after the accident? But it had some really cool plot twists that I'm not going to get into because I think you should watch this film. But the plot twists were really good and I recommend it. And I'm going to put it at the top of A, and that's April, and the 7 I watched before April. I don't like that is become 2 lines big now. It looks bad with only Matrix on the second line, but it's fine. Actually, I'm going to put the Matrix here. Now it's fixed. There we go. Yeah, there's my tier list and Interstellar, which I'll decide what to do with at some point, maybe. Yeah.